All right, Dave, we don't have a clever name for this whole cornerback thing that's going on. Is it Adderall Gate? Is it? I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's mandatory. You put gate on the end of whatever the situation
right.
is.
I'm not sure we want to put at the top of it, but it seems like it's gate or something like that. We're talking about Richard Sherman still and Brandon Browner. And Jerry Brewer wrote an interesting piece, and I'm going to give you credit, Bob. You sort of kind of tapped into the popular feeling on this thing that just taking away for a second from the legal this, the legal that, are they going to, they're going to be subjected to a fine or anything like that? The sense that for Seahawks fans, what this is maybe more than anything is just kind of personal disappointment as a fan.
Yeah, and I think because of the people they are, specifically Richard Sherman, because he is so out there. He is a guy that engages the public on Twitter. At practice, you saw him always getting into it with the fans, talking and having fun. He's just a guy that I think people feel like they know on some level, and you develop an attachment to that kind of a player, that kind of a guy, and then to hear that they potentially, again, we don't know yet, did something that would seem to be very selfish and really just dumb on a lot of levels. We can all argue about how damaging Adderall is or isn't, but just the fact that they would risk a 4-game suspension doesn't line up with who he is. That decision does not line up with who that guy is that we've talked to many times at Seahawks Weekly and in the huddle, and he's such a smart guy. And not that Browner's dumb or anything, you just don't feel like you have a connection to him as much. It doesn't add up. It seems to be a complete contradiction to who he is.
You're disappointed in him.
Yeah, you're not mad. It doesn't make him a bad guy. It's nobody's saying, "Oh, get him off the team." They're cheating. There's none of that. It's a matter of, well, I'm so disappointed. Why, of all people, I didn't expect this of you.
Well, and the thing, even though Browner is not necessarily as loquacious or talks as much as Sherman, they have become the focal point of the team. I mean, we've talked about the Legion of Boom here, of course, but the big pressure corners who can play man-to-man are kind of, they epitomize what the Seahawks sort of are. And we had one of the callers bring that up on the show, too, that, this is sort of the essence of the team that's kind of under attack here. And, it does kind of feel that way. I mean, we know the hearing's going to be next week. We had a conversation with Eric Williams, which you might want to listen to the podcast on. He talked about there being a 20-day period, maybe from when things are first charged to when things are heard, that there is actually a sense that there's a chance this might, like the Marshawn Lynch thing, might not be heard even until next year.
Right.
If that's the case, those guys will still play. But yeah, it seemed like in talking with people today that a bit of the luster has gone off.
Yeah, again, disappointment is the only word you come up with if it is carried out to the end. The only upside to it is that, unlike baseball, these things are, for whatever reason, don't stick with the players, whether it's steroids, whether it's Adderall. Football doesn't attach themselves to records and numbers the way baseball does. So if these guys were on the Mariners, forever that cloud would hang above their head as being drug cheats on some level.
Well, just get to the Super Bowl and we'll forgive you.